What's a bigot? Do you know what a bigot is? A bigot. Well, in this lesson I'm going to teach you, but first you have to subscribe to my channel right down there. Okay, so a bigot is someone who is intolerant toward people who are somehow different than they are. They're different. Maybe they're a different religion. Maybe they have a different political ideology. Okay, they're somehow, they don't like someone because they're different. Okay, so basically it means I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I don't like you for some reason. For some reason, okay? So this word you will hear a lot in politics, and you will hear it with these words here. Very often when you hear the word bigot, you'll hear the word racist, xenophobic, prejudiced. Okay, all these words basically mean the same thing. It means you don't like someone else, and you have a bad view of other people for some reason. Okay. Now I want to show you how this word can change forms. Okay. So if we say you are a bigot, that means a person. Okay. So a bigot is always a person. Now we could say you are bigoted. You are bigoted. Then we're describing your attitude or your personality. Okay, you are bigoted. Okay, and here you are guilty of bigotry. Bigotry. Okay, that sort of means you are guilty of the crime of bigotry. Well, bigotry is not a crime. It's not a crime to think someone else is bad. Right? Nobody can police your thoughts. But this is the base word. Okay, the word is bigotry, that's a noun, and it can become bigot, which means a person, and bigoted, which is an adjective that sort of describes a person's their outlook, their personality. Okay, now here are the way the other words sort of change. So here we have the basic words, right? Racism, xenophobia, prejudice. Okay, these are nouns, and those are adjectives there, how to describe a person. It's sort of confusing in English how words change forms, right? But don't worry about it. Just learn a little bit of English every day. Watch Mad English TV every day, and your English will be perfect in no time. Well, not perfect. My English isn't even perfect. So don't worry if your English isn't perfect. Okay, so bigot is often used by left-wing people to insult right-wing people. Okay, so this word is used as an insult. You bigot. You know, I think most of the time people don't even think about what this word means. They just use it because they don't like someone. You bigot. Okay, so very often, like, people on the left in politics accuse right-wing people, you know, they use it as an insult. You bigot. Okay, for example, Donald Trump very often gets accused of being a bigot. A lot of people say, you bigot. He's a bigot. Because, you know, they're saying he doesn't like other people. You know, he doesn't like Mexicans. He doesn't like, you know, people from the Middle East. He doesn't like all those people, right? That's what they say. So they accuse him of being a bigot. Okay. Also, sometimes people accuse anyone wearing a hat like this of being a bigot. So if you walk around with a hat like this in the US, I'm sure people will call you a bigot. A bigot. Maybe not in Canada, but in the US for sure. I always find it funny how people get so angry about a hat. It's just a hat. It's a red hat, and people get so angry about it. It's funny. I think it's a bit funny. Now, in my last lesson, I told you that these terms here, virtue signaling and soy boy, are insults that right-wing people use to describe left-wing people. They say, you soy boy, or you are virtue signaling, right? Like Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is a left-wing person, right? So people would accuse Justin Trudeau of being a virtue signaling soy boy. But the people on the left also have an insult to describe right-wing people, and that is the word bigot. Okay, so very often they're saying, you bigot, and they're saying, you are virtue signaling, which means you're trying to appear virtuous. You're trying to appear virtuous, but really you don't care. You're sort of weak. You're weak. You're a soy boy. Soy boy sort of means someone who's a bit weak. Okay, now some of you are confused about these terms here, right wing and left wing. What do they mean? Well, these are just words to help us describe political and economic ideologies. Okay, what do you believe about a country? How should it be structured? What should the economy be like? Should the government do everything, or should people be responsible for everything? Okay, so these are just ideas, right wing and left wing. Okay, so right wing is usually used to describe capitalism, whereas left wing is socialism, right? So Donald Trump would be considered to be right wing, and Barack Obama would be considered to be left wing. A lot of people said Barack Obama is a socialist, right? Because he tried to start a big healthcare program in the US called Obamacare. Do you remember Obamacare? Okay, so here's another way to think about it. Okay, right-wing people usually believe in less government, and left-wing people usually believe in more government, right? I mean, what is the role of a government in society? Should the government pay for everything like free education, free healthcare? Should the government do all of that? Or should it be up to individual people and private businesses? Because this is a very different idea. Left-wing people, socialists, sort of believe that the government should do everything, and right-wing people don't like government. They don't trust the government. They trust themselves more than the government. Okay, so like I said, these are sort of ideas used to talk about politics and economics. But these days, people use these terms, right-wing and left-wing, to talk about a lot of things in society, right? For example, do you like guns? Do you like guns? Well, then people will think you're right-wing, right? If you want to ban guns, no more guns, then, people will think you're left-wing. Same for abortion. If you like abortion, people will think you're left-wing. If you don't like abortion, people will think you are right-wing, right? Usually people on the right like guns and hate abortion, and people on the left hate guns and like abortion, right? So sometimes society can be very polarized. Polarized means very divided, very divided. Everyone's either here or over there. Nobody's in the middle. You have to choose one side or the other. That's what polarized means. Everybody is here or there. There's not very many people like me who just use common sense. Hey, maybe I should be the next Prime Minister of Canada, or maybe I should be the next President of the US. But that's impossible because I'm Canadian, not American. Okay, now sometimes you'll see this term, alt-right. Have you ever heard that term? This is a very popular term nowadays. You'll see it in the news quite a bit. Alt-right basically just means extreme right. Extreme right. Okay. Now, extreme right is sometimes referred to as fascism. Fascism, right? Adolf Hitler was a fascist. And left wing refers to communism. Like extreme left wing is communism and extreme right wing is fascism. So over there would be like Stalin, and over here would be like Hitler. Okay, so that's extreme right wing and extreme left wing. Okay, now in my next lesson, I'm going to teach you guys this word here, pandering. Pandering. Have you ever heard that word? I think it's a pretty advanced word, but it's a very important English word if you want to understand politics, because you'll hear this word quite a bit in politics. Hey, I want to know, are you a bigot? Are you a bigot? Be honest. Let me know down there in the comments, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Political English.